Hello, Ben Mortai here. Today I want to do a video on PvP rewards, kind of give my thoughts on it. I've been having a lot of discussions recently in Discords, on Twitter, and on the forums. So I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on everything, some ideas I have, some reactions to some different things I've heard from different people. So I guess my overall frustration, I guess you could call it, is I've seen a lot of good ideas for PvP rewards posted by content creators and on Twitter and on the forums, but they always seem to be aimed towards still the higher end of the bracket for some reason. I think what we're missing is, I think we should be looking to try to incentivize people to play instead of just incentivize them to try to push up the bracket. We should just be trying to get them to just to PvP in general. We shouldn't be so worried about the upper end of the bracket. Now, that's not to say that there shouldn't be any rewards or more rewards even added for the upper part of the bracket. I'm just saying that there seems to be too much focus on that. So if we look right now, the seasonal rewards are almost entirely based for 2100 plus in Arena, in RBGs. But the issue with that is, and some people will argue this with me, but I'll kind of point out their argument, is that most people are below 1800. Most of the people on the ladder are below 1800. So if you're pushing rewards every season only for, let's say, it's usually, but 2100 is usually 5 to 12% of the ladder, depending on the season and inflation. So that's a lot of people that are on the ladder that never get to those rewards. Now, some people will argue that if you look at below 1800, that a lot of the people down there have played 50 games or less in some cases, but the problem that I see with that argument is that makes sense because the upper part of the bracket is always going to be the more serious PvPer, the non-casual PvPer, the people that are going to be pushing rating. So if you look at that, I think it makes sense that the bottom part of the bracket's not going to have as many games played. Now, the counter to that is a lot of people play alts nowadays, so it's hard to tell whether they have 50 games on that one character, but they also have, say, another 50 games played on another character, or 80 games played here, 70 games played there. It's just hard to kind of gauge that with how many alts people have nowadays. Like, for instance, there was a season in Shadowlands, and this was RBGs, not even Arena, that I had 170 games played on my Hunter, about 70 games played on my Rogue, and about maybe 65 games played on my Mage. And the Mage, I don't even consider a character I play very often. But that's just kind of an example of how spread out people can be on characters. So you can't just look at one character and say they've only played 50 games. You have to kind of look at someone's whole account, whether they have alts and stuff as well, and kind of consider that. So again, if you look at the current season rewards, most of them are 2100 plus, so that's the enchant, elite weapons, gladiator, rank 1 title, gladiator mount, tabard, those kind of things are all 2100 plus. Now, you do have rewards at 1800, which is the elite sets, but the problem with that is there's 4 of the versions of those sets as well. So at 1800, you do have a reward you can get in the elite sets. I do see some issues with that as well, because not only can you obtain those looks in 4 of the color variants in, say, LFR, normal, heroic, and mythic rating, if you do those things, it's not PvP unique, so it's not a PvP unique reward, really. The color is unique to PvP, but the set itself is not. And then you do have the mount that you can obtain for getting to 1000 rating and then filling the bar by doing rated content. I do like a lot of those mounts. The issues I see with that as well is it's usually just a reskin of a current mount. It's usually not some unique mount that's put into the game. All the unique rewards are 2100 plus, where most of the players on the ladder never get to. I'm not saying, and my argument is not to move those rewards down. I'm not saying make those rewards easier. I'm not saying make the Glad mount easier. I'm not saying make rank 1 easier. I'm not saying any of those things should be easier. I'm just saying that there should be other rewards for the larger part of the player base just to get people PvPing, just a reward for grinding, not just what your rating is. And this goes into the form of non-rated content as well, which the non-rated content for PvP has not really seen any updates for its rewards in a long time. Now, we used to get some new rewards if a new battleground was put into the expansion, but we haven't seen a new battleground in, I think we've had one in the last 10 years, and it was Seething Shore, which was a disaster. It was so bad they had to remove it from the RBG pool because it was just so buggy. It's still got some bugs in it. It still hasn't been totally fixed. There's just, and the achievements are really never get updates for unrated content, minus some of the world PvP ones, but not everybody world PvPs. You had the honor level system, which has potential. if it got updated, but that hasn't been touched since it was pretty much implemented. The rewards have been the same forever. There's no rewards past honor level 500, which there's people well past honor level 500 now. So there's just some things they need to look at as far as unrated content, I think, overall, because the goal should just be to get people PvPing. It shouldn't be just to push them towards rated content and then also pushing them to be pushing to high ratings in that rated content. Because in the end of the day, it is a video game. PvP is a competitive part of it, but unrated content is competitive even if it doesn't have rating attached. It's still competitive whether you're doing your first games or you're 2500. It's still competitive no matter what. So I think what we should be looking at, again, and this I'm going to repeat this probably quite a bit, is there should just be goals on trying to get people to PvP in general. And I think that should be through unrated content in Battlegrounds. We need some new rewards for doing unrated content, maybe a new honor kill achievement. That one's I've had that one since 2012. Now I know not everybody has it, but there are some people that have had that for quite a long time. Maybe up that a little bit, whether it's 500,000 kills, 1 million kills, add something in there for that, mount title, something. There's just some things they could add in. And for the unrated content, I think the biggest attribute or biggest system they could probably put in that would benefit unrated content would be some kind of battle pass system. I'm not talking about something you purchase for real money. I'm just talking that type of system for that type of content where there's kind of a progression of where you get rewards, and that could be even seasonal. Every season a new bar comes up where you fill the bar to get those rewards. And then maybe once the season's over, they go on to a vendor and you can use those honor tokens that you have to purchase the past season rewards from that progression bar if you didn't already have them. Something along those lines, so they don't just disappear once the season's over. There's still a way to obtain them, and that could be probably maybe a good use for those honor tokens that you get that, other than buying transmog gear, don't really have a use. Maybe buying potions, but I know I have a ton of them in my bank that just never get used, so that would be nice to maybe be a way to put those to use. And I think we already kind of had a battle pass system in place in a way. It's the honor level system. I think if they just redid that and reworked it, it would be a good way to kind of implement a system like that. It's kind of already there. And those are the things they could do, like there's the Duelers League that they put into BFA that just kind of was there and they just kind of ditched and never did anything with. That could be move it out of BFA, make it a system that you could use, that you can queue for in Stormwind maybe, or in Orgrimmar, not just in the BFA zones. Add some new more rewards to it for the 1v1 type stuff, that content that some people will like. So there's all these kinds of things they could do to add more rewards to the PvP systems to get people to play. Now I also agree, some people argue that there should be rewards put in at the upper part of the bracket to keep people pushing, and I agree with that. That's 100% true. They need to add some rewards after 2400 to kind of keep people going. Now whether they add a new reward at 2400 and maybe move the Glad Mount up higher, I don't know. Maybe keep the Glad Mount at 2400, add some other rewards, some new transmog, a different elite set, different elite weapons after that. I'm not sure. They could do something, a different title, who knows. They could add more stuff to those spots to kind of keep those going, keep people pushing past those spots as well, and not just have the only thing that you would be shooting for after Gladiator is rank 1, which very few people ever get to that level. There needs to be something between Gladiator and rank 1 as well. I mean, overall, there just needs to be just more rewards in general. I'm not sure how many times I can say that. I've talked about that so many times on Twitter and Discords, forums, all kinds of things. I just think you can't ignore the lower end of the brackets in unrated PvP. Getting into PvP in general is hard enough, so I think overall the community has some very good ideas. I just want to see people focused on, like I said, the lower end of the ladders, or just the ladder in general, not specific rankings, just the ladder in general, and unrated PvP now. We have Battleground Blitz coming in now. It's a brawl first, but then it'll be a rated mode after that for solo queue RPGs. That's going to be a good way for them to add new rewards in too. Maybe do some reworking on how the ladder system works to kind of even that out, so we don't have big variations on how hard it is every season to get different titles and different rankings, depending on how inflated or deflated the ladder is. So that's going to be a good opportunity for them some new rewards in. Some things I would just like to see: take the Grand Marshal and Warlord sets, update them, make them cooler looking, add that as a BG Blitz reward, or just a RBG reward in general, and move maybe the old sets down into a reward you get for doing unrated PvP in Battlegrounds. There's just all these things I think they could do to kind of add things in. I mean, some people have said they wanted to see old PvP elite sets added back in. I kind of agree with that and kind of don't. I can see why I earned it when it was relevant. I can see that argument only because, again, the way seasons vary from inflation and deflation, you could easily, let's say there's an inflated season, you get to the ranking for elite sets and now you have all of them, but it doesn't really correlate to how maybe deflated one season one where it was really hard to get that elite set. So I can kind of see those arguments of why they wouldn't want that. I understand why people want to see that, because they just want to see more rewards in the game. So yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think should happen. What kind of rewards would you like to see? Are you an unrated player, rated player? You do a little bit of both. What do you want to see added into PvP as far as rewards go to get more people playing? Because that's my goal, is just to get more people playing, more people having fun. I could care less about my rating. I mean, I like seeing my rating go up as much as the next person, but where that ends up, I don't really care. Usually when I'm especially doing arena, it's for rewards. It's not for a rating. So for me, that's not a big deal. So yeah, in the comments, tell me what your thoughts are, what you think should be some new rewards they should add. Do you agree that there should be more rewards added to the lower bracket and unrated? Do you not agree with that? Do you want to see just more rewards added to the upper bracket? I want to know what you think as well. So leave a comment, like, subscribe. I'll keep doing videos like this to kind of keep things fresh and give my perspectives on things. So I hope you enjoyed my perspective, and I'll see you in my next video.